like everybody needs to give Dr. Stone a little chance, a little look through. Like it's something different that has appeared in Shonen Jump, and something that we haven't really seen come through in terms of like the Shonen Jump sphere. Like when we think of Shonen Jump, we think of like all the battle action things that come through. Like of course Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, My Hero. But then when you get some of these other titles, like Blue Box, things that you don't necessarily gain the widespread appeal that the battle action manga would. I
Hmm.
think Doctor Stone, because it's the most recently completed Shonen Jump series without being axed or anything like that. Like it had 232 chapters. It just recently had a special epilogue chapter like 2 weeks ago. Um,
Right. I like that one.
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
yeah, no, that one was really good. That one was amazing. Like the setup, we'll get to it when we get there. Like, but
Right.
I really did enjoy that chapter as well. But I'm saying all of this to say is like when it comes to Doctor Stone, it's something very different, and I
Hmm.
think that because of the direction that it takes in the beginning with like the apocalypse, setting up we're coming back from the world of the Stone Age, where we're embarking on restarting the world and using like the fundamentals of science in order to like recreate the world in this way. I think that in the beginning it sounds very interesting, and in some aspects of it, like the graphs when they start making things and how things relate to each other, it gets kind of like widespread, but it all makes sense at the end of the day. It's not anything like I hate to use this as an example because I love it, but like how like JJK does those charts, man. Like when we just had the
Right.
the Hikari thing, and like how sometimes we'll get things of like explaining how things work. But with Doctor Stone, they'll make everything like relatable in a way where
Right. It's
the
very digestible science.
yes, very digestible. It references things that have already occurred within the story, so you don't really need to retread the full scope of everything. It'll just be a graph of like, here's nitric acid, here's like electricity, here's how we're gonna make a battery. You know what I'm saying? Like it reuses old things and it'll compile those into building up the foundations of science. So I do appreciate Dr. Stone for at least showing that when it comes to the evolution of science in general, like it does it in the best profound. I don't want to say profound, but it is very profound because that's literally how science and evolution works. Like we take things and then we build upon those fundamentals and we create even grander things.
It kind of demystifies science, which I find really cool. And even even though when we get to some parts of the story where it kind of gets into pseudoscience with time travel and stuff like that, and whatever the Y man is, and all of that, um, it's just one of those things where on the reread, you can kind of lean more into the process without thinking more about the mystery, and you kind of enjoy the adventure for what it is, and you get to you get to your parts, you get to Treasure Island, and the mystery of Treasure Island was so different than anything that had popped up before because it was they're now dealing with science that they hadn't dealt with before, and they're also dealing with like this is someone who's like actually an adult trying to kill them or an adult trying to get them out the way, as opposed to where at the beginning it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies kind of situation,
Right.
but it turns into kind of like a global thing, and it goes from Lord of the Flies to kind of like a World War type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just one of those things on the reread where I think demystifying the science is a huge part of that, and being able to kind of see how the story progresses through other forms of like English
Yep.
English writing, um it becomes really cool.